Welcome to this lesson. Today we are looking at community organization. This is a new topic in line with the introduction to community development. So before we continue, I want us to look at the meaning of some of the key terms. We have a community and we also have organization. So when we talk about a community, we say that this is a group of people living together in the same geographical locality, sharing same culture, and also they may have the same system of government. That is what we call a community. Then we also have this term that is organization. When you talk about an organization, this refers to a group of people who jointly pool their resources and efforts together so that they can work towards accomplishing a common goal or a common objective. That is what we mean by organization. So we have community organizations. Yeah, these community organizations, these are now groups of community members who jointly come together so that they can work towards accomplishing a common objective also. So this community organization, they are community based, meaning that they are found there in the community. They are created by community members who come together, who have maybe realized that there is a need of working together so that they can solve community problems as a team. That is what we mean by a community organization. Yeah. So this community organization also refers to a community-based organization, or maybe groups of people developed through various ways to accomplish a common or also specific objectives. So these community organizations, they normally play a very important role when it comes to the process of capacity building and also a community empowerment. Remember, when these people come and work together, there is that aspect of sharing experiences. They also learn from one another, and through that process of learning, they are also going to enhance the capacity and also empower the rest of the members. So what are the characteristics of a community? So there are some key characteristics of a community that you as a change agent or a community development worker needs to understand. Now that you are going to work in the community, yeah, you are going to work with the community members, you need to understand these key characteristics. Number one is people. So when we talk about a community, when you look at the definition of a community, you realize that it is a group of people. Yeah, so this means that a community is made up of people. So these people are members of the community who are gradually replaced through the process of maybe a migration, and also biological processes, for example, reproduction. So these are the members of the communities. They are people. So when you go there as a change agent, you need to know that you are going to work with who? You are going to work with people. So you need to understand that you are going to work with people. Your aim is to assist or to help these people come out of their problems. Besides this one, we also have another characteristic of a community, that is geographical locality. So each and every community has a specific location. So when you talk about geographical locality, we are looking at now the place where that community is found. So this location is also marked by boundaries, which are also well known to its members. Yeah, so you know that if you are working within this community, yeah, you will not go beyond this particular boundary, because this is the boundary of the community. Remember, if you go past this, you realize that this is a different community. So your work will have to concentrate within this particular community, now that you now understand the culture of this community. So geographical locality is also another key characteristic of a community. Number three is culture. So culture, this one is a way of life of people within that community. Remember, when you go in that community, you need to understand the culture, the way they do things. And this culture, we say that it comprises of the norms, we have the values, we have the belief systems, etc. Yeah, so the norms here could be the folkways, and we may also have maybe the mores. So there are those rules in the society, yeah, whose violation will have to result into a serious punishment from the members of the community. For example, they can disown you, but there are other norms whose violation cannot result into a serious punishment. So that's why we are talking about the folkways and also the mores. So it's good that you, as a change agent, you understand the culture of the community or the way of life of the people that you are going to work with. If not, you will find yourself in conflict with these individuals now that you don't understand what is accepted in that community and what is not accepted. So do not go there with your own way of life. Remember, we say that what's accepted in your community might not be accepted in that community. And it's not a must that as a social worker or a change agent, you are going to work within your community. So you might be sent maybe to work in a different community, which also has a different way of life or different culture. Besides these three, we also have a personality trait. That is another key characteristic of a community that you need to understand as a social worker. So in this community, there are people. These people are not the same. They are different. And that's why you are now trying to look at those personality. When you talk about personality, we are looking at those traits that make us different from other people. So the members of the community are also not the same. They may come from the same family, but their personality traits are different. Yeah. For example, we have those individuals who talk more in the society. Those are the extroverts. So these are individuals who are questioning each and every move. So whenever you suggest that we are going to do this project or we are going to undertake this activity, they'll have to ask you why. So they keep on asking so many questions, even if it is something that they understand. So sometimes you may think that these people are testing you, but it's not the case. That is their personality. We may have other individuals in the society who do not talk more. For example, we have the introvert. So at times you may ask them questions, but they are just quiet. So you may feel like maybe these people are not interested in what you are doing, but that is not the case. That is their personality. So once you understand them, you'll be in a position to move well with these individuals. Then we have the third type of personality trait, which we call ambivalent. So these are individuals who tend to be, maybe they look as if they are confused. They don't know the direction that they are supposed to take. So you need to be there so that you can guide these individuals as a change agent. So we have been insisting on this because you are going to work with people who are different. So it's good that you, as a change agent, understand all those traits and also understand the people that you are going to work with. Finally, we have time, which is another key characteristic of a community. So time here is important in relation to the periodic events that take place in the society. So you may feel like you want to start a project, you want to implement a community project, but remember the community also has its own calendar of events. During this time of the year, they are busy engaged in these and these activities. So you need to understand such kind of things in line with what? In line with the time. During this month, there is no rainfall in the community. So if you choose to implement maybe an agricultural activity during that time, it might not do well because you did not understand those periodic events that take place in the society. There are other communities that have their own cultural practices, for example, circumcision. So during this time of the year, the members of the community are busy involved in those religious or also maybe the cultural events or cultural activities. So whenever you choose to start a project during that time, you might not get them to participate. And remember, we say that participation is key to the success of any community development project. So that's why we are also insisting that you need to understand time as a key component or characteristic of a community. So those are the 5 characteristics which are also used as the components or the elements of what? Elements of a community. So we have people, geographical locality, culture, personality traits, and also a time. So let's go back to the community organization now that we understand what a community is and what a community is made up of. So what are the key characteristics of a good community organization? Remember, we say that a community organization is made up of people. Yeah, and these people have agreed that they are going to move towards a certain desirable end, yeah, a common goal or a common objective. So what do you think are some of the characteristics of a good community organization? Number 1 is that it is formed by a group of people within a common bond. So they come from that community. That's why we are talking about a common bond formed by a group of people. So it is formed by a group of people. So the key word here is a group and also a people. So these are members from the community, and this means that one person cannot constitute an organization. An organization exists when we have plurality of persons. So that is one of the key characteristics of a good community organization. So they are a group of people. Another one is that members have that high sense of social awareness, self-identity, and also genuine concern for the welfare of each other. Yeah, so they have that sense of social awareness and they have a concern for each other. So the key word there is members have a concern for each other. So that is the second characteristic of a community organization. This means that they care for one another. Yeah, they have that genuine concern for each other. Yeah, and they also identify themselves as part of that particular community or part of that particular group. Number 3 is there is a shared goal. So we have a shared goal. Yeah, just like the way we defined a community organization, we mentioned something to do with what? The common goal. So if these people agree to work together, that means that they have agreed to move towards a certain direction, and all of them will have to move towards that particular direction. So they do not have a divided goals or objective. So we have come together so that we can work towards accomplishing this and this. That is also one of the key characteristics of a good community organization, and that is what also keeps these members together. Number 4 is democratic leadership is always in place. Yeah, remember when we have a group of people working together, definitely we need to have someone will have to lead the rest. So, but the style of leadership that is being used here is a democratic leadership style. So there is that democratic leadership style in place, whereby each and every member is given an opportunity to air out his or her views in line with maybe the goals of that particular organization, or maybe the project that needs to be undertaken and how they should be done. And number 5 is that there is a group constitution, or maybe at least some rules that will have to also guide the behavior of the members. So we have the group constitution. These are just a set of rules or maybe laws or bylaws that will have now to guide the members. They need to know what should be done and what should not be done, like that. And finally, we have there are efforts of capacity building through exposure and also training among members. So those are the 6 key characteristics of a good a community organization. So you need to go through those ones, and in case you have any question, you can also ask through different chat forums that we have in the system, and we can also ask those questions through maybe the Zoom classes that